going to make a new project, Java class library. I'm going to name it exception. Make the source packages, make a Java package. And then inside that, I'm going to make a new Java class. I'm going to call it app start. App start. I'm just going to make the main method for the application. The first thing we're just going to do is how to loop through these arguments and how to pass into arguments to your application, right, from NetBeans. So how to loop through the arguments, we're just going to make a basic for loop. And then inside that for loop, I'm just going to print out the args. Each argument, right? And then, so that Brian doesn't have to type this over and over again, we're just going to make a public static void log, and then we're going to pass in a string. And then inside that, we're just going to make a shortcut to the system.out.println line. So instead of this, we can just put log args I. So then, after we got that, just run your application so that you can set your main class. This window should pop up and just double click the app start.java, and then we're going to have build successful and nothing's going to be logged because we're not passing in any arguments to the application, right? We're just running it right now. To pass in arguments from NetBeans, you're going to go on this window and you're going to right click the project name and you're going to go down to properties, right? Once you're in properties, on the left side where it says run, you're going to click on run, and then inside arguments, we're just going to put 1 space 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so those are the arguments that we're passing into the application now on application start. So now when we run the application, you're going to see in the console 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the arguments that we just passed in. Let's say we're just going to add 5 to each of those arguments, right? And print out the addition of whatever arguments that you pass in. So inside here, I'm going to write an integer. I'm going to make an integer named sum equals 0, right? And then I'm just going to log to treat a string as an integer. We're going to put log sum equals plus sum5 plus integer dot parse int args I. So now when we run that, you're going to see that it's actually adding to the value of the number. We're not concatenating it to the string. I'm going to delete the arguments log up here, and I'm just going to leave the int sum5 and the addition function that we have. All right. So what would happen if instead of passing those arguments, we're going to change one of the arguments, let's say 3, to 3.
Yeah, parse int is not going to work. It's going to crash.
Error message, and our program stops running. If you look at this error message, it says exception java.lang number format exception, right? This is the type of error that we're getting back, the exception, the actual name, right? So this is where we want to use try catch statements, right? Just for example, we can just surround everything in it, put try, and then catch. For now, you can just put exception E. if we're actually going to log the actual, error number format exception, we can write it here, number format exception E, and it's still going to work because this is a subclass, is a child of exception class. But for right now, we're just going to leave it exception, exception E, and then we can put system.out, or rather, log e.getMessage. So now when we run it, we're going to see error, and this is the .get message. This is what comes out for input string 3. It just tells you what argument was wrong with it, right? But our program's still getting cut off when it catches that error, right? If we want to have an error handling, but still, it just doesn't blow up the program completely, everything will else still run. So basically it's going to do the sum to 1, 2, it's going to skip 3, log the error, and then keep on going with 4 and 5. Then we're going to have to do, instead of putting this try catch statement on the outside of the entire for loop, we're going to put it inside here. We're going to try and catch. Alright, so now when we run it, we're going to say boom, sum, and then error is going to print out, but it's still going to keep on running, and the application is going to be still on 4 legs, right? Or however you want to say that. So that's basically basic try catch exception handling. And again, just to get the exception is the class that E belongs to. Like if you right click here, I think that's really cool with NetBeans. Like now that we're going to get into abstract classes and interfaces, and we're already defining public and static, like all this stuff is already built into Java, right? It's part of java.lang. If you right click whatever that you want and you hit navigate, you go to source, you can actually, it'll take you exactly to where it's going, right? So here you have the package, which is java.lang, and then a whole bunch of comments in there, like for Java docs, and then public class exception extends throwable, right? So you guys already know what extends does. So if you go to throwable, navigate, go to source, boom, public class throwable implements the interface serializable. That's what we're about to get into. It's interface definitions. We go to source, boom, that comes over here. It's just interface serializable, right? Now here we don't have to know about all that stuff. We just say catch this exception, and then e.getMessage. Exactly. The e.getMessage is the these are all the public methods that are available to us. Get cause, get class, there's a whole bunch of other stuff inside there. But for right now, we're just going to do catch exception E, log error equals get message, right? So once we do that, we have the error message getting logged, handled, and we have our application, still sound. It's still going to run. Typecasting, this is like the main part of this workshop, is going to be typecasting, abstract classes, and interfaces. I'm going to remove everything that we have. I'm just going to have a public static void main. And I'm going to create a new class, right? So I'm going to make a new class. I'm going to call it animal. I'm going to make a constructor, right? Constructor is going to take a string argument, and this animal, every class that extends this class is going to automatically get a private string name, and that name is going to be initialized in the constructor. Name equals str. And then in order to access the main, since it's private, we need to make a getter. So public get name is going to return a name. This is a basic animal class, right? We're just going to add 2 methods that all animals do. Eat and public void sleep. If we're trying to call that log function, the method that we named in the app start, the reason why we're going to call it like this is because it's static, right? We're calling it to the class. We don't have to instantiate that class to be able to call it, right? So I'm going to just put in that log. I'm just going to put the name plus is eating. And then the same thing for sleep. I'm just going to put the name is sleeping. Alright, so we got that. Now I'm going to make a new class. I'm going to call it dog. Inside dog, we're going to extend that animal class. If we make a new class, I'm gonna make a cat. Again, extend animal, and then again we're gonna have to do another constructor that's just gonna call our super class. So we have a dog class, a cat class that both extend from our animal class, right? If we go to our application start and we say dog D equals new dog and cat C equals new cat, then we can automatically call the public methods that we have inside there, right? Eat and sleep. E.sleep, C.eat. If we run the program, we're going to say Henry III is sleeping and Mona Lisa is eating. Okay? This, we're explicitly defining the type of these objects as a dog object and a cat object, right?
Yeah.
But what is the superclass of both of those objects?
What's the question?
What is the superclass of both of those objects? Exactly. So instead of here, dog and cat, we can say animal. D and animal C equals new dog and new cat, right? And this will automatically, nothing will change. It'll be fine. So that's a kind of basic, thing with a class and polymorphism, right? I'm going to define an abstract method in our animal class, right? So it's going to be public abstract void do trick. So what's the rule of an abstract method? Like what is this going to change now?
Now you gotta go back to your other classes and
And
say
you have to define that method.
Writing this abstract method in our superclass animal, we are going to have to define this do trick method.
within each dog or dog and cat, right?
Yeah, and now also since we're defining an abstract method inside of our public class, we're going to have to make that abstract. So now in our dog and our cat, we're just going to define that method public void do trick. And I'm just going to log I'm going to put our dog to play dead and our cat, what the hell trick can cat do?
Stare out the window.
Abstart.log. Alright, now if we wanted to print the animal's name inside this log statement, how would we do that? Since we're inside the animal, we don't have to write anything, we just can call that getName function since it's defined as public in the superclass. So now when we run our d.doTrick and c.doTrick methods, we're going to get staring out the window. Alright, so we have d-sleep, c-eat, d-doTrick, and c-doTrick, right? You guys are all there? Alright, and we're getting the name value and passing everything's working good?
Yes.
Cool. So now, let's make one new class, and we're going to call that lion. The lion is also going to extend our animal class, since it's an animal. Make a constructor, pass the constructor variable that's accepting a string variable to your superclass, and then write a doTrick method, since it was defined as abstract in the superclass. So after making that class, I'm just going to add that to the animals that we're creating inside our application start. I'm going to make an animal L equals new lion, and I'm going to name him, lion. Alright, so now we have three animals, dog, cat, and lion, right? They can all sleep, they can all eat, and they can all do a trick, right? We run this, we have all our log functions good, right? And then you try to get a lion to do a trick and he eats you. We're going to make a new, and instead of a class, we're going to say Java interface. The Java interface usually starts with an I, a capital I, just to let it know that it's an interface. So what I'm going to say is just going to put I petable. Okay?
So wait, I just put it like Java interface.
Public void pet, and we're just going to close it. Right? So this is a very basic example of an interface and one method defined inside the interface. So now when we have this interface iPetable, and we just want our dog and our cat to be petable, we can say public class dog extends animal implements iPetable. Okay? That's going to give you an error because now that we're implementing this interface, that's a binding contract, right? This is like a blueprint of whatever object's going to instantiate from it. It has to define these methods. Right, so now in dog and cat, we're going to put public void pet appstart.log get name being pet. So now in our cat extends animal, and we're going to put implements iPetable, and then override the pet method, and I'm just going to put appstart.log get name is being pet. Okay? So now, that's basically the idea of, we have two things that are implementing this iPetable interface, right? That are both extending from the superclass animal. Our lion is only extending from animal, and it's not implementing that interface since we don't want to pet the lion, right? In order to call this pet method, what will we have to do? In order to call that pet method inside our dog and cat class, what are we going to have to do?
Can't you just say d dot pet?
Nope.
Well, you can call that method.
If you change from animal D to dog D, would that? How's it?
That's one way to do it up here, but to give an example what typecasting and what a use of it for, right here we're doing a type of animal, right?
Yeah.
Animal D. Put a parentheses, you cast it to an iPetable, D dot pet.